Our next project is going to be designing a few playing cards. And so I'm going to go over some aspects of playing cards, decks of cards, that you're going to need to understand when you're designing yours. Okay, so typical cards are about palm sized. They're a very specific size so that they fit comfortably in your hand. When you are designing yours, you're going to have a specific template that you're going to be using, and it's going to have a very specific size that you need to fit within. One thing about traditional playing cards is that they are symmetrical. So you can see that the designs are flipped. They're flipped horizontal and they're also flipped side to side. So that the reason that they do this, two different reasons. First of all, it looks good. Our eyes are drawn to things that are symmetrical. But more importantly, with playing cards is there's no up or down with these cards. When someone is dealing cards out and you pick up your card, you don't have to turn it one way or the other for it to be sitting right side up in your hand. If you've ever, as a kid, played something like, I don't know, any kind of card game where it does not have cards that are symmetrical like this, what you do is you pick up your card and you just automatically twist it so that it's right side up. And that doesn't seem like it takes a lot of time, but you can see, like in casinos where they're playing the cards really fast, that would be problematic with having to switch the cards around. So that's one thing that you're going to have to do with your card design, is you're going to have it so that it has this symmetry, so that it doesn't have an upside and a downside if you flip it. Corner indices, you probably never knew that that's what these were called. But the corner indices, this is really important because you're going to have to include these in your card designs. That's like this where it says J diamond and K diamond. Okay, so those are called the corner indices. They're in this corner, and they're also, you can't see it here, but they're down here in this other bottom corner. And the idea behind that is, when you have several cards in your hand, you don't have to have them spread all the way out to be able to see what cards you have. You can have them nestled really tightly like they have in this picture here, and you can still see that I've got an ace of diamonds in there, but I don't have to be able to see the entire face to see them. So on your template, you will have, the template will have a little grayed out area here. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to keep your letter and your suit within that area. Now you're going to turn the gray area off, but you need to make sure that your letter and your suit is sitting inside of that gray area, so it'll be in the correct place if somebody's holding the cards. The face cards are also called the royals. I'm just going to call them face cards. And one thing about these is that there is a similarity across all of the jacks, all the queens, and all the kings. So if you look at a traditional deck, first of all, the queens, it's very easy to see that these are all women, right? But with the kings, it's the same guy. He's got kind of this curly kind of beard, all right? So it's that same all the way across. All of the jacks are this guy that only has, I think in a few places, he's got like a little pencil mustache. So what you're going to have to do with your cards is you're going to have to maintain some kind of similarity across all your kings, something similar about all of your queens, and something similar about all of your jacks. And I'll go over that a little bit more when we actually look at the project. The other thing is that decks of cards have two different colors, all right? So the spades and the clubs are black cards, and the diamonds and the hearts are red cards. So you're going to have to maintain that. You're going to be designing one set of red cards and one set of black cards. So you got to make sure that you maintain that. Now, one thing that I want you to see though here is that the only way that you can see that these are red cards and that these are black cards is because of the corner indices right there. The rest of the cards are kind of multicolored, so those don't change. So you can just do that if you want to. You can just make it the color of the indices. That makes the color change for you. That's fine. You don't have to do anything more complicated than that. This is a video. I will go ahead and put a link to this in on Blackboard so that you can get to that and look at that. So what I've got here in the next few slides are examples of professional work. Now these are not ones that were done for this project, so they're not going to fit into the categories that you have, but it'll give you a good example of some designs other than just the traditional one that you've already seen. Okay, so you can see that you've still got this symmetrical thing here. They're facing in different directions, and it's also flipped. You want to have these meeting in the middle in some kind of an interesting way. You don't want just like a straight line across. So on most of these, you'll see that where they meet in the middle, there's some kind of interesting thing going on. They flow into each other, or they have these interesting designs here to separate the two. Okay, here they're sharing arms, kind of. And these are also not all done in Adobe Illustrator, which is what you'll be using. You may want to have a banner in the middle that has a name. If you're dealing with some kind of a historical thing and you need to have the person's name, you can have that in the middle there. Now these banners in the middle, you don't necessarily have to have the name facing both ways. That's fine. You don't have to. Another thing I want to show you with these cards is they are symmetrical, but they've got slight differences on either side. If you want to do that, you can. It's going to be extra work for you. But if you wanted to make some slight differences between the top of the card and the bottom of the card, then you can do that. You still need to have a situation where there's no top and there's no bottom to the cards. Whenever it's handed to you and you put it in your hand, seems like it's the right side up. These next few cards are all from the same artist, possibly from the same deck. See, it just blends into each other here. Oops, sorry about that. I scrolled down the wrong place here. Here we go. And what I'll do on Blackboard is I will have this lecture up, but I will also have, oh, never mind. I was talking about my digital illustrators. Completely forget that I said that because I don't know how to edit this out. So let's just keep going here. So obviously these are based on Game of Thrones. And an interesting thing that they've done with this is obviously Game of Thrones is a current thing, but they have made the cards look like they are old by coloring in the background. You can certainly do that. Your backgrounds of your cards do not have to be just white. You can have anything you want to back in there. Same thing with these. They're made so that they look old. You want to make sure that you're filling up the space well. Okay, you don't want just something that's just like, straight up and down and not filling out the space well. Okay, so here's a good example of what you don't want to do right in the middle. This is just like a white line dividing them. Okay, if you just took out that line, they would kind of flow into each other pretty well. So don't have a white line in the middle like that. So you can slow this down and look at these more closely if you want to. I'm going to flip through these. This was a deck that was all about presidents, I think. There was a Lincoln one back there a little ways. These are really nicely designed. These. This is a design on the back of the card. You are going to have to make a design on the back of the card, and I'm going to go over how to create patterns for that. This is a deck all surrounding like pigs, I think. So this is an example of one of the front cards. This is what the back of the card would look like. Your design on the back is going to have to relate to your subject matter in some way. These are back of card designs. More backs of cards. You can see the very intricate designs. That one's nice.